Today on Public Eye News, Grand Rapids picks Chicago officer as next police chief and sentencing set fatal mall shooting in Wisconsin.
Later, Brendan Ford will have your weather for the weekend and Mitchell Reif will have your sports update. Hi, I'm Scott Minshaw.
And I'm Mitchell Reif, and this is Public Eye News. With the winter semester underway, the northern community is excited for the season's events and changes. In that, the SSCC would like to welcome two climbers to the SSCC leadership, Gary Lawton and Hugh Gunderson. They were also announcing a new social climb series starting this month at NMU's rock climbing wall. Along with that, the PIF will also have equipment available for rent. The wall offers a safe introduction to climbing to help you learn the beginning climbing techniques. Starting in Lansing, Michigan, Hillary Scholten announced today that she has chosen to run for a seat at the U.S. House. The Grand Rapids area has been reliably Republican and has not chosen a Democrat to send to Congress since the Watergate scandal. Scholten, who also worked for the Justice Department under the Obama administration, hopes to seize the Democratic Party's best chance at representing Western Michigan. The mother of two also added that her focus will be on the pandemic while facing the educational and economic challenges we've had in the last 2 years. Staying around the Grand Rapids area, earlier this morning, Eric Winstrom has been hired as the next police chief in one of Michigan's biggest cities. Winstrom is coming all the way from Chicago, the Windy City, and is considered the expert in the use of force and the Fourth Amendment, preventing law enforcement from unreasonable searches. He's been an officer in the Chicago for more than 20 years and is excited to continue his leadership role in Grand Rapids.
Former Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson, who is currently serving as the president of the University of Wisconsin, is overseeing a statewide effort to expand education systems in prisons throughout the state. The plan will bring college-level courses to prisons, and eventually the hope is to have a degree program up and running by the fall of 2023. With this new program, the former governor and others working on the project hope the state can focus more on rehabilitation for those currently serving prison terms. Disturbing news today out of Lansing, Michigan, as two former University of Michigan students claim a professor at the school sexually assaulted them while they were studying there. The former undergrads alleged that Professor Bruce Conforth used his position as a faculty member to pressure them into sexual relationships with fear of consequences if they did not cooperate. These two women are part of a larger lawsuit against the University of Michigan that claims the school knew about the sexual misconduct and did nothing to prevent it. Last year, 18-year-old Desmond Ellis killed Jovane Froston during a dispute about a girlfriend at the Fox River Mall food court just outside of Appleton, Wisconsin. Ellis will finally be sentenced today after prosecutors agreed to a plea deal that will charge him with second-degree intentional homicide and first-degree recklessness endangering safety. Initially, Ellis was charged with first-degree intentional homicide, which carries a life sentence, but agreed to the plea deal to lesser his time in prison. And stick with us, because after this short break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
He had a sound that was like nobody else.
He was a phenomenal entertainer. He was a phenomenal player.
I don't care who it is. If they're going to pick up the guitar and they're going to play rock and roll, they're going to start with Chuck Berry.
I wanted to sing like Nat Cole, with lyrics like Louis Jordan, with the swing of Benny Goodman, and with the soul of Muddy Waters.
He'll always be considered the king of rock and roll.
Tonight at 9 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back. Recently in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, a fire broke out of control at a nearby fertilizer plant. After firefighters had investigated further, they found chemicals that could ignite large explosions, forcing thousands of people to evacuate immediately. The evacuation area included more than 5,000 people leaving their homes for this incredible danger. Fire Chief Trey Mayo told reporters that there were hundreds of tons of combustible chemicals containing a large amount of ammonium nitrate. The battle against the fire continued, and residents were advised to evacuate for at least 36 hours. The Plant Winston Weaver Company has been in talks with the fire department, but no comments have been revealed. And earlier today in Louisville, Kentucky, the trial for police officer Brent Hankison continues. The jury's questioning has been delayed till Thursday due to minor surgery for Officer Hankerson. He was involved in a police raid gone wrong that ended with the death of Breonna Taylor. Brett later pleaded not guilty on his 3 counts of wanton endangerment for allegedly shooting his firearm randomly into apartments surrounding Taylor. No officers have been charged for her death, causing more nationwide protests demanding the officers stand trial for her murder. And students and faculty at Howard University got the all clear for class after an early morning bomb threat drew law enforcement to campus. It's the second threat in 2 days at the historically black university. The multiple HBCUs are reporting new bomb scares. CBS's Jeff Begay reports from Washington.
Students and staff at Howard University in Washington, D.C. woke up to a new alert of a bomb threat on campus for the second day in a row. The Bison Safe app alerted the community just before 3:30 Tuesday morning as D.C. police investigated multiple areas on the main campus. The FBI and the ATF have been busy investigating 2 other recent threats at historically black colleges and universities across the country since early January.
It's very scary for parents and students and staff as well.
At Bowie State University in Maryland, an order to shelter in place rattled nerves Monday. Other schools that received threats Monday included Albany State University, Southern University, and WNMU College, Howard University, Bethune-Cookman University, and Delaware State University.
I will say that these are certainly disturbing, and the White House is in touch with the interagency partners, including federal law enforcement leadership on this.
Are they seeing a lot of threats?
We're just responding to those as we speak.
Acting ATF Director Marvin Richardson spoke exclusively with CBS News.
We have certified explosive specialists who would respond to those scenes, along with our explosive detection K9.
The Congressional Bipartisan HBCU Caucus is calling for a thorough criminal investigation, releasing this statement that reads in part, "We will not let terror disrupt or demean the academic excellence of our HBCUs." It is not clear if the threats received earlier in January are related to this latest batch of threats, but obviously it's something investigators are looking into. Jeff Begay, CBS News, Washington.
According to the World Health Organization, the coronavirus pandemic has caused a huge glut of healthcare waste across the world. The World Health Organization's Officer for Water, Sanitation, Hygiene, and Health, Dr. Margaret Montgomery, has said that people are causing the massive amount of waste by wearing an unnecessary amount of PPE. The organization has now recommended that the use of eco-friendly packaging for personal protective equipment in order to fight this growing problem. Mass killer Anders Behring Breivik, who killed 77 people back in 2011 in Norway, has been ordered to remain in prison due to a, quote, obvious risk, end quote, that he would return to killer behavior. Breivik, who is currently serving the country's maximum 21-year sentence, is set to be released in 2032. Psychiatrists who evaluated Breivik have said he is sane, but remains a threat to the community. Experts say global warming is threatening the future of the Winter Olympics, as cities can't stay cold enough to host the Games. Beijing is racing to get venues ready with an army of snow machines. CBS's Tina Cross reports from London.
Team USA snowboarder Taylor Gold normally shreds fresh powder in Colorado. But in Beijing, it'll be a different ride.
It makes me sad that we need so much man-made snow to sustain winter sports.
China has rolled out more than 100 snow machines that will use an estimated 49 million gallons of water to get venues in shape for competition. For the first time in Olympic history, athletes will compete on 100% artificial snow. But keeping venues covered has been a challenge for years.
In the Sochi Games, the halfpipe was melting while we were competing on it. They were spraying some chemicals on it to try to get it to stay in shape.
Experts say by 2050, just 10 of the 19 past Winter Olympic cities will have suitable climates to sustain the Games.
A lot of them are getting really, really warm, not just really warm, but really warm really quickly.
Forcing organizers and athletes to adapt.
The snow is actually really amazing, the man-made stuff. You have to be really aggressive with how you ride.
And scientists say only aggressive climate action can keep the winter in Winter Olympics. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
Brennan will have your weather for the weekend, and I'm going to have your sports update. Stay tuned.
On Masterpiece.
We have received correspondence. Mr. Fogg is missing at sea.
I am the reason we are marooned here on this tropical prison.
We've been in situations more hopeless than this.
What could possibly be more hopeless than this?
It will be a battle to survive here.
Around the world in 80 days on Masterpiece.
Sunday night at 8 on WNMU TV.
Hello and welcome back to Public Eye News. My name is Brennan Ford and I will be bringing you your weather for today. If you take a look behind me at the NMU campus, you can see that it is very sunny outside, and Marquette today has just broke its 37-day below freezing streak. This is the longest below freezing streak it has had since 2015. Looking at your current conditions, you can see that it is cloudy, and we broke that below freezing streak with a temperature of 39 degrees. We have winds heading out of the northeast at 14 miles per hour and a barometric pressure of 29.66 and rising. If we go ahead and take a look into tonight, we will be able to see that moon just a tad bit. It'll be partly cloudy with a low of 10 degrees, winds heading out of the west at 12 miles per hour. And looking at tomorrow, we can see that the clouds will continue and it will be cloudy again with a high of 14 degrees, winds heading out of the northwest at 12 miles per hour. Looking all over the UP today, we can see in Sault Ste. Marie that it will be cloudy with a temperature of 42 degrees. In Manistee, the sun will be just barely showing with a temperature of 38 degrees. Moving on to Escanaba, 40 degrees and cloudy. And from here on out, we can see it is cloudy all across the UP. In Menominee, 41 degrees. In Iron Mountain, 37. And it drops down just a little bit in Ironwood with a temperature of 23 degrees. In Houghton, a temperature of 29 degrees and strong gusts of winds. And in beautiful Marquette, it is 39 degrees and cloudy. Let's get into those future weather conditions of yours. Looking at Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we see it as cloudy all across the rest of the week with a high of 9 degrees and a low of 0 in Thursday, so be sure to bundle up. On Friday, a high of 15 and a low of 3. And on Saturday, it starts to warm up just a tad bit with a high of 20 degrees and a low of 16 degrees. Let's go ahead and get into your sports update with Mitchell Reif.
Recently in the football world, the champion of this time has closed his playbook for good. After 22 seasons and 7 rings from the Super Bowl, NFL star Tom Brady has retired. Brady had an amazing career on the field and off, which is what he hopes to focus on more of in his retirement. He said, quote, "I'm not going to make that competitive commitment anymore. I have loved my NFL career, and now it's time to focus my time and energy on other things that require my attention," end quote. Husband and father of 3, Brady has longed for more time to spend with his family and plans to be more involved with the TB12 Health and Wellness Company. Earlier today in Beijing, athletes and teams officials are continuing to receive positive test results for COVID-19. The rates have been reaching higher levels, especially in China, for the upcoming Beijing Olympics. There were around 11 positive results from the 379 athletes that were coming into the area. Earlier yesterday, the rate of infection from those already inside the Olympic bubbles was 100 times higher for the athletes and officials compared to workers. The most senior athlete at the International Olympic Committee, 2-time Olympic hockey medalist Emma Turo, also was in an isolation hotel after testing positive on arrival. In Jacksonville, the Jaguars interviewed the former general manager for the Minnesota Vikings, Rick Spielman. They were in talks of Spielman committing to another front office role in Jacksonville. He had spent 16 years of his professional career in Minnesota as the team's GM. The following season, he was fired after the second straight year that the Vikings didn't make it to the playoffs. And I'm sorry, but that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning in for another session of Public Eye News. I'm Mitchell Reif.
And I'm Scott Mitchell. On behalf of producer Megan Tarcea and our weatherman Brendan Ford, that's all we have for today. We'll see you tomorrow.